What's up, everybody? This is What is Sports. I'm your host, Tyler Dietz. With me is Nick Grant, fresh from his guest spot on the Tight Ends podcast. How you doing, Nick?
Doing great, and that was actually a lot of fun. Had a great time on that show, and looking forward to having a lot of fun on our show as well, talking about
For sure.
all things sports.
Yeah, listeners, check out the Tight Ends podcast if you don't listen to it already. Highly recommended. Nick did a bang-up job at representing our show, talking about March Madness on their show, so check it out. Also, of course, as always, with us is JP Cochran. How you feeling tonight, JP?
Pretty good. I'm just happy to be talking with Nick. Such a popular guy in the podcast world.
I know, it's an honor.
Yeah, it is an honor.
Yeah, well, guys, believe me, the pleasure's all mine. Happy to be here talking with you guys. So this will be fun. It'll be nice.
And Nick's actually charging us $50 a piece to do this podcast with him.
That's right. He's on our payroll now.
Yeah,
so now that he's a big shot celebrity.
Yeah, international and everything. It's good to be me. What can I say?
But thanks for joining us, though, listeners. We're actually still carrying on our celebration of our 1-year anniversary, talking about our top 10 favorite sports. If you didn't check out our last week's episode in which we went through our top 10 through 6 favorite sports, give it a listen before you join into this one. We'll be going through numbers 5 through 1, and also, of course, we'll be announcing our winner for our March Madness Twitter giveaway, in which you'll win a $15 Amazon gift card. If you haven't entered the contest, check out our instructions for joining on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at whatisports1 with no question mark. Of course, give us a like on Facebook. That doesn't hurt. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, send us an email at wisportscast@gmail.com. We'll be announcing the winner for the contest later on in the episode, so stay tuned for that. All right. Before we get into our countdown for our favorite sports, let's talk about what's been going on. Nick, what's been going on with the XFL?
Well, to be honest, I wish I could tell you. I wasn't really able to watch all 4 games this weekend, so I'm sorry, guys, for the disappointment. But yeah, I know it happens. Life gets in the way.
You're more worried about someone else's podcast than ours. I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
Yeah, well, I got it. It's all good. No, I just had 2 takeaways from the weekend. Well, actually 3. One, if y'all watched the Houston Roughnecks and the Seattle Dragons, that was actually a really great game. The Roughnecks ended up winning 32-23. But the thing that's a lot of people were talking about was the ending. The Houston Roughnecks quarterback, P.J. Walker, he took a knee on 4th down deep in their own territory, turning the ball over. Now, when he did that, there was 2 seconds left on the clock, and the ball should have gone over to Seattle to have a shot to tie the game. That didn't happen. They just let the clocks run, and they said, the game's over, when really Seattle had a chance to tie. And the officiating...
Wait, why did the game end?
The game ended because when P.J. Walker took a knee, there were 2 seconds left, and what they should have done was stop the clock and say, all right, turnover on down, Seattle, it's now your ball, you have 1 play left. Well, that didn't happen, so they just kept running the clock, and the game ended. And so...
Interesting.
The XFL actually came out with a statement saying, yeah, that shouldn't have happened. So the officiating supervisor, they said he has been reassigned, which I guess now he's just a regular.
Yeah, that sounds like a serious mistake.
Yeah, so I mean, that could have... I don't know if they would have won the game because it's kind of like a little Hail Mary, and then you would have had to have made the 3-point conversion after you score a touchdown. So, I mean, the chances of that happening, I think, are pretty slim. But still, they should have had that opportunity, and they were denied that.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not going to go through all the games because, like I said, I didn't watch all of them. But I did want to say this. During the DC Defenders, they defeated the St. Louis Battlehawks 15-6. And I talked to you guys a little bit about this already, but they had a beer snake, and it was insane.
What do you mean beer snake?
All right, so a beer snake not quite. So what a beer snake is, what they do is they'll get, they'll pay for beer, drink it, or whatever, I don't know. But they have this cup, right? So what they do, they start stacking cups. Basically, it's just a massive stack of cups, but they call it a beer snake. And I shared it or retweeted it on our Twitter, and the XFL posted a ton of pictures and videos about this. It just goes up and up and up, several rows, like just all over the stadium. It was crazy. And actually, the XFL commissioner Oliver Luck, he was at this game, and he actually contributed with one cup. So that was pretty cool. Definitely would recommend you guys checking it out. It was very hilarious and very impressive.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it now. That's awesome.
Yeah, it looks beer. Yeah, it's unreal. And also the third thing I want to point out that I learned from this weekend in the XFL, my power rankings. I don't know. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So you have the Houston Roughnecks at number 1, and then it's just like whatever, like for the rest of it, because
that's what I'm saying. Okay, Houston and St. Louis are good
I don't
teams.
even know, but I don't know if St. Louis should be number 2. I mean, they should be number 2, but they just lost. What was the final score? 15-6, and that's not number 2 material, man.
Who are they playing?
The DC Defenders, who got destroyed in the previous 2 games, although they did change the quarterback. But
I still maintain that St. Louis is a good team.
Yeah,
but
I would too.
I think that the rest is a toss up though, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's talk about college basketball a little bit. So March Madness is upon us, gentlemen. I'm super excited. In fact, I feel like March Madness has already started. Because you have the conference tournaments happening right now.
Yes, exactly. I'm pumped for March. It's one of my favorite months when it comes to sports because I mean, I'm not a huge basketball fan, but I do love March Madness. I think I've got all the conference tournaments, and I think the winner of each conference goes to the tournament, right?
Correct. Yes.
They've not. Yeah.
And honestly though, so because basically the teams that end up winning the tournaments are already good enough to get a bid into the March Madness tournament anyways, most of the time. But occasionally you do get some upsets and stuff, so they're still exciting to watch, and also they're a good showcase for the teams that you'll be watching in March Madness if you haven't been paying attention to college basketball up until now. So, I mean, I'd start watching now if you haven't yet. I mean, there's a ton of conference championships happening right now. Actually, there's 2 important ones that are over at this point. Mountain West championship finished on March 7th. Utah State beat San Diego State, which Utah State was the 2nd seeded team in this tournament. San Diego State was the 1st seeded team, obviously. San Diego State's one of the best teams in college basketball, but it did affect their standings or their rankings for the season overall because they were beat by the lesser team, Utah State. So moments like those are significant because, yes, that has guaranteed Utah State a spot in the March Madness tournament. So, that was Mountain West. Also, the West Coast tournament, actually, the night that we're recording, Tuesday, March 10th. The final is currently happening right now. It's Gonzaga versus St. Mary's, which I'm recording that game. I'll be watching that after we finish recording the episode now. But I've watched Gonzaga in a couple of games this tournament, and as always, they're a super entertaining team. They're looking pretty good. But anyways, a lot of games are going to be happening between the day this episode releases, Wednesday, March 11th. In fact, the majority of the significant conference championships are going to be starting today that you hear this. And they'll be finishing up Saturday or Sunday this weekend, just in time for Selection Sunday, which will be on the 15th this week. So tune in, check it out. I mean, definitely watch the ACC, Atlantic 10, Big 12, Big East, Big 10, Pac-12, and the SEC. Check your local listings for all that information. And then the first official game of March Madness is Tuesday, March 17th. So it's starting, y'all.
Yeah, it is. Got to get those brackets in, get them ready.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of which, our March Madness Bracket Challenge is kicking off. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter for information on how to sign up for that. You can participate in our bracket challenge this year. So definitely don't miss that. I'm super excited. My team, the Deese's Dominators. I mean, we won our fantasy football league this year. I'm taking on the March Madness Bracket Challenge now. I'm gonna win, y'all. I'm feeling good about this. So
I don't know. Well, maybe lightning does strike twice. We will see.
You won't have Lamar. You won't have Lamar Jackson for this one. So.
Oh, Lamar Jackson doesn't play college basketball? Shit.
No, he doesn't. Neither does Christian McCaffrey.
Right.
But yeah, this bracket challenge, we're teaming up with Football and Focus podcast and the Tight Ends podcast. And you can find all the information, like Deet said, on our social media, and free entry. And the winner, the best bracket, will receive a $50 Amazon gift card, which is, hey man, that's pretty awesome.
That's right, money in your pocket.
Definitely. And there's a password to get in. We'll tell you it's Sports Pod, like Sports Podcast but shortened. But anyways, there's currently a password, but that'll probably be lifted relatively soon. But we already have a lot of people in, and would love to have more. The more, the merrier. And it's going to be awesome. So definitely join up and get ready for it. It's going to be fun.
Well, and we already mentioned the Tight Ends podcast. I wanted to give another shout out to Football and Focus, another great podcast. We had one of their hosts on as a guest back around Super Bowl time. And so check them out. They're at, if you search at The Alternative Edge on Spotify, you should find them that way. It's another great podcast that we highly recommend. A bunch of good guys over there. So, okay, before we get to our end of the top 10 rankings, I wanted to give a couple of shout-outs to soccer. Some important matches coming up. The She Believes Cup, which is it's a little miniature women's international soccer tournament. It's just a 4-team tournament. You have Japan, England, Spain, and the U.S. There's only 3 games in the tournament. It's kind of like a group stage match situation, so each team plays each other. The one with the highest number of wins wins the tournament. Currently, the U.S. team is leading with 2 wins, 0 losses. Spain and England are tied for second. No, of course not, because U.S. women's national team, as we all know, is awesome.
Right.
And so if you miss those players, if you miss that team from the World Cup last year, check this out. It's a lot of fun to watch them play again. So they'll be playing against Japan. The day this podcast releases at 7 p.m. Central. I believe they're on ESPN. Double check your listings to find out. And then, of course, we have the UEFA Champions League happening right now. Leg 2, okay? Leg 2 of the round of 16 is March 11th to March 18th. Now, there's a lot of different teams playing. There's still 16 teams, but check it out, tune in. A lot of exciting stuff going on there. Also, I don't know if you guys heard this, but obviously the coronavirus is affecting the soccer world.
Oh, yeah.
The Italian league, Serie A, is they're not playing any more games for the I think until April, and so at first they had said that they are going to be playing games but without any spectators, but now they've just shut it down entirely. So that should have some major ramifications for the league as a whole, and other European soccer leagues might be affected, because I know that in Italy the coronavirus is especially rampant right now. So here's hoping. I'm personally hoping that the Summer Olympics doesn't get affected, because that's in Tokyo.
That would really suck. Think of the best way to spread this virus even more worldwide. That's
Right,
the
exactly.
Olympics.
Like a big global event. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I can see them having the Olympics and there being no spectators.
Right.
Because like they've
That'd be
talked
so
about
weird,
that with
though.
the NBA. Yeah, that would be. I mean, like,
But I'm sure that the majority of their money comes from like, I'm sure that like ticket sales don't make up their, the majority of their profits.
sponsors and all that. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
but
so
then
because
you
people
have
still
all
be
the-
watching on TV.
Right, that, but you also have the people coming into your country for, concessions, hotel stays, and going to see other sites. So, I mean, they're going to be taking a hit financially because they won't have people coming in to watch the Olympics. So that's not good.
Yeah. Yeah, and also because we have a Formula One season coming up, which is another, international sport, and I know that Formula One is still they're not canceling the season or whatever, but they are taking precautions like as far as not allowing spectators to certain events and all that stuff. And so I mean we'll keep an eye on what's going on with all that. But anyways, let's transition to back to our main topic that we started last week. Our top favorite sports, right? So we went through our top 10 through 6, going from our least favorite to our most favorite out of the 10 major sports we've covered on the show. Now, kind of picking up from where we left off, okay? We're going to do 5 through 1, okay? Now, if I remember correctly, most of us in our 10 through 6 had mentioned combat sports. I think all 3 of us mentioned it.
Yes, I think even extreme sports.
Yeah, I know I did.
And I think all 3 of us. Do we all mention hockey?
I mentioned hockey.
Yeah,
Yes,
I did.
Yeah, I think I know JP and I mentioned motorsports and racing, and
Well,
I
because
think
y'all are stupid.
oh, whatever, man. And then
Nick, did you mention golf yet?
no, I didn't. But I know both of
man,
y'all did.
okay.
So
Yeah,
but
I put moto as I think Nick and I both put moto as our least favorite. But
yes, we did.
Well, y'all are crazy. All that's going to change next episode whenever we cover Formula One. But so let's get to it though. Number 5, JP, you go first. What's your number 5?
number 5, I put soccer, football.
All right.
Because it's in the middle there. When it comes to these big soccer events, I truly love them. Oh, I love them so much. But that's just one event that takes place every few years, and so if there are more events like that, then
The World Cup is every 4 years.
yeah. But then you have the Women's Cup. Okay,
That's right. Yeah.
So and then also you have the Olympics too. I don't know which I like watching the Olympics too. I mean, I definitely like the World Cup the most. But
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. Soccer is a sport that unites the world.
Yep.
In a way.
And I can't really get into these other leagues or teams. Even the Frisco team because I don't know.
You talking about FC Dallas?
Yes.
For Major League Soccer? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Just because I don't know the players, I don't know anything really about it. I mean, I'm sure if I started watching it, I would become interested. And I'm not even sure like what channel you would even watch that on or how you would watch it. I'm sure there's some streaming app that you can download to watch.
Well, JP, it's a channel called Fox Sports.
Okay, all right. Well, I figured that could be it too. And even like these, like I think on Saturdays or Sundays, there's always some big soccer match on NBC or something like that in the morning. But I don't know. But I like the World Cup and Olympics soccer matches or soccer tournaments, and that's about as much soccer as I watch. But I still and also I used to play soccer, and it's a fun sport to play.
Yeah, I played soccer too when I was like 5. That was fun back in the day.
Yeah, I think most kids did play as a
When
young
did you play
age.
soccer, JP?
I started at age 4, and I played till I was in 8th grade. After 8th grade, I quit.
Oh, 8th grade. That's not bad, actually. That's
So I played for a while, and I mean it's still fun to kick the soccer ball around. I wish I would have played. I wish I would have played it in high school because I don't know, but I just had too much going on. So
Yeah, baseball. Right.
baseball, and football.
Yeah. All right. So Nick, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is golf.
All right.
And yeah, I know you guys had it lower, no deets. I think that was your number 10.
Snore.
Oh, that was my number
golf
6.
is the
That was my
worst.
number 6. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm going with golf with number 5, and just kind of to remind everybody out there that my criteria for listing these sports was if it was on TV, would I watch it? Now, typically I wouldn't watch golf unless it's the end of a major tournament
Yeah,
or
or
something
unless
like
you
that.
feel like taking a nap. That's what golf's good for.
Golf's not that bad to watch. It's really entertaining because so much can happen. There's been plenty of times in a tournament where there'll be one guy in the lead and it's like, oh, he's coasting, and then something happens. He just can't hit for anything, and he just starts choking basically, and somebody else is picking up steam and overtakes him, and there's a lot of there's a lot of drama in golf, and there's a lot of neat storylines. And I mean, we talked about it last year when Tiger, he won, it was the Masters, right?
Yeah, no, that was cool.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, that was a lot of fun to watch, and I don't know, it's just fun when you get these big iconic golfers and just doing well, and the major tournaments are fun to watch, and I don't think I'd watch them every day because really, in my opinion, the last day is the only day that truly matters. I mean, obviously you got to get there, but yeah, I mean, it's fun. There's a lot of neat stuff about it, and plus everybody likes an Arnold Palmer. Lemonade, iced tea.
It's a classic,
and, Yeah, and it's named after the golfer. So yeah, golf is iconic in that alone. But obviously, so many more things. So yeah, golf, my number 5 for its history, its drama, and its beverage.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't say that I'm going to try to get into golf, but at least for the next major, I'm going to try to commit to watching it on Sunday, like watching the final day and trying to get into it at that moment. Okay, well, my number 5 is motorsports.
What? I thought you were all in love with motorsports. I thought this would be like your number
I was
1 or
figuring
2.
you're gonna put that, in the top 2. And what's up with that? What's up? Why are you hating on motorsports?
Well, it's okay. So motorsport is it's good to watch because I like the complexity that it has that is not immediately apparent on the surface, right? So the more you watch motorsport, the more you see that goes into it, which is really cool. You see the kind of the strategy of like the pit team and like, with Formula One, like they switch different tire types, for example, like depending on how the road is. And I don't know, there's just a lot more to it than meets the eye. That being said, for motorsport, I got to think about, okay, Formula One, IndyCar, and NASCAR as a whole. NASCAR races are too long, and there's also so many of them. And another thing that I don't like about NASCAR is there's so many cars. There's 40 cars. How are you supposed to keep up with that in a race?
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, they usually
makes it more
crash
exciting,
like
though, because then you have more crashes.
But it's like Nick said, every time there's a crash, so a crash every now and then is exciting, but whenever like a crash happens and then like 5 seconds later another one happens, every time a crash happens they have to reset. They have to do like
that's pretty annoying.
whatever 10 minutes of pace car laps so they can clear the track, and so that's obnoxious. Also, I think that one of the problems, because Formula One's the best motorsport league, but one problem with Formula One is that you have the top racers, specifically Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas for the Mercedes team, overwhelmingly dominating the entire season. And that kind of puts a bit of a damper on it.
Because all the cars are not created equal.
Right. Well, and that's part of it, though, too, is that, because I don't know anything about engineering, but that's another level that you can appreciate motorsport on, is an engineering level, because they say that the driver is only maybe 20% of the win. The other 80% is the engineering team. And so, like you said, JP, not all cars are created equal. It's more of a test of engineering than it is of driving.
Yeah, and the like Mercedes and the top teams have more money, so they can spend more money on their cars.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and you could kind of make that case with a lot of different sports, soccer
true.
in particular, but it definitely does kind of ruin motorsport a little bit. I mean, that being said, it's my number 5. I mean, I still like the sport a lot. So, yeah, there you go. JP, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is... Sorry, I put down my sheet. Is basketball. Basketball is my number 4. So, like, okay. If regular season basketball is on, then I probably won't watch it, which I need to start doing. I need to start doing that. But like,
start watching the Mavericks, dude.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I really need to watch the Mavs. So I want to watch Luka Doncic and Porzingis, and they have a good young up and coming team. But like some of my favorite sporting events, like I already mentioned, I love March Madness. I love that. It's one. Yeah, I might like March Madness more than the NBA playoffs or I mean, I don't know about the MLB playoffs, but either way, it's fun to watch because upsets can happen, and it's just like always on. It's like game after game after game. There's always something to watch, and then like I like watching the NBA postseason. Like so, I don't really get into the regular season, but when it comes to the postseason, it's some of my favorite. It's one of my favorite sports to watch, definitely. So I couldn't put it in my bottom 6, so it just fell at number 4.
All right, cool.
Makes sense.
Hey, by the way, before we continue on to your number 6, Nick, let's go ahead and announce the winner for the Twitter giveaway.
All right, yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so everybody, in order to be eligible for this contest, you had to retweet our image for the Twitter giveaway using the hashtag WIS giveaway 2. So I'm going to go ahead and announce the winner, which is Jack G.
Jack
G.
All right, Jack G.
Jack G, if you're out there, go ahead and send us a direct message on Twitter letting us know that you have won your prize, and then we'll provide you with further instructions on how to claim it. Remember, you must DM us on Twitter announcing that you have that we have announced you as the winner. Everybody else, better luck next time. We'll be doing another giveaway for this coming week, so watch out for that. Remember, everyone, if you want to enter the contest, you do have to use the hashtag. That's how we end up searching and adding a spreadsheet and add everyone's name to a Excel document, and I do a random selection based off that. So you do have to use the hashtag. This time it will be WIS giveaway 3. So look out for our announcement. Anyways, so Nick, go ahead with your number 4.
All right, my number 4. I'm pretty sure you guys might find it a little surprising, but my number 4 is tennis.
I'm kind of surprised. I'm kind of surprised that it was so high on your list. I figured it would be in the bottom 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Give us your reasoning. Why do you freaking love tennis, Nick?
I don't know if I'd say I freaking love tennis, but I will say that after watching several matches lately, I've decided that tennis is actually pretty fun to watch. Again, this is my main criteria. I feel like if there's a tennis tournament on, I think I'd be like, I'll check this out. Let me see what's happening, because it's action-packed, it's fast-paced, and you don't have to worry about cars crashing to hold up the race. You don't have to worry about, I don't know, anything else. If somebody's hurt, match is over. But yeah, it's just fun, high energy, and it's really impressive with how these athletes, their stamina, like how they're able to just I mean, you think, yeah, it's like a little bit here, a little bit there, but it goes on and on. I mean,
it's
there's a
really
lot of stamina, and it's got to be a strong mentally draining as well. I mean, you have to be strong, have a strong mindset for it, and I think tennis is fun. I have appreciation for any and every athlete, but I mean, it's tennis players to me are very impressive how they can, because you have to be quick. Everything just has to be quick and fluid, and it's a lot of reactions. So, yeah, impressed with tennis. It's fun to watch. That's my number 4.
Yeah, I agree. Tennis rules. All right, my number 4, and I'm frankly, I'm a bit surprised at myself with this one.
All right.
My number 4 is American football.
Okay. I can understand that. I can understand that because, your average American male, I feel like would try to put football at number 1 spot just because it's we live in America and it's football and who in the world
if you don't like football, you're not American.
Yeah, who in the world would rank it under anything else? But anyway.
Well, let me tell you, so football, I obviously have some problems with football. I think that I didn't mention this about motorsports, specifically with NASCAR. I think that football is like so commercialized and like it's like built for advertising, because there are so many breaks. They stop so often. There's so many commercial breaks. I think that if you were to cut together just a football game and just go with like the actual play time, it would be maybe like 30 minutes or less.
It wouldn't be quite
Easily.
30 minutes, but
yeah,
it would be.
If it's just the play time. Like, it's so much setup and stopping, and that's very frustrating.
That's why they have the XFL, man. Game clock keeps going, man.
Yeah.
It just keeps going.
And so the XFL actually is one of the reasons why I put this so high, is because football itself is actually a incredibly entertaining sport, and it doesn't have to be slow. It doesn't have to be constantly stopping. And kind of at its core, it's an incredibly entertaining sport. It's a great team-oriented sport that where there's, obviously quarterback is important, but it allows for many different players to be the stars of their team. The exciting moments of football are extremely exciting. Watching like an awesome, long pass or interception or something like that. Football, whenever it's good, is really good. It's great.
Yeah. I totally agree.
And
that being said, there's nothing that I hate more than watching a bad football game, though.
Yeah,
I hate it. It's excruciating.
It can be it can be really boring. Like, there have been so many games I've fallen asleep in. It's like just it's Sunday afternoon and you freaking fall asleep.
Yeah, and that's one of the problems with watching the Dallas Cowboys, is because they had a lot of really bad football games last season. And but I loved watching playoffs last year. This year. I've really enjoyed watching XFL. So I think that football is great whenever it's great. It's terrible whenever it's terrible, but that's that's my takeaway.
Wow, that's a very controversial.
Right.
Right there.
Okay, JP, you go with your number 3.
All right, my number 3 is baseball.
Oh, wow. I'm a little surprised.
Yeah. It's just like the higher up we got, the tougher it got to rank them. This could be because, I just haven't gotten excited about baseball because the Rangers haven't been very good. And,
it's because baseball sucks.
Shut up.
No, it's not.
But,
I'm just kidding.
No. Golly, when it comes to postseason, I do love watching postseason baseball. It's hard for me to watch the Rangers when I know that they're probably not going to make the playoffs because, they play 162 dang games and it's just a long season. And how much does one game really matter? And I've got other stuff to do. I can't just sit there and watch a long game. There were a few seasons where I did when they were better, but I mean, I love watching baseball in person. Man, I love it. It's if we could choose the top sports to watch in person, I mean, I think mine, I'm sure y'all's list would be different, but
No, I think that baseball is great to watch in person because you're just hanging out.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the slow pace of it is actually a good thing.
Yeah.
Because you can kind of kick back, enjoy a corn dog, and just kind of hang out and watch the game. And yeah, it's great. I love going to baseball games.
And just like seeing players hit it, like even if it's just a routine ground ball, just that crack of that wooden bat, and it's just a good experience overall.
All right, well, Nick, what's your number 3?
My number 3, I went with basketball.
Okay.
Mainly more of a focus on college basketball. I'm more likely to watch a college basketball game than I am an NBA game. But basketball, it's fun. It's again fast paced. A lot can happen, and crazy things can happen. Buzzer beaters are always great, unless it happens against your team. I keep thinking about how many crazy and wild finishes we watched last year during March Madness. It seemed like just about every game we watched was so neck and neck, very tight games, and then just something remarkable would happen at the end, and it's just exciting. It is fast paced, which definitely keeps your attention, and indeed, it's kind of like what you're saying. Bad football is bad, good football is good. I mean, I feel like the same could be said about basketball. If one team's getting blown out, you're not going to want to watch it. But great basketball games are very entertaining, and it's always it's a good game when there's 2 minutes left on the clock, and it takes 30 minutes for for the game to end.
Yeah, man. Jeez, it can be excruciatingly painful to watch sometimes at the end just because it takes so long.
Yeah, but it's still a lot of fun. I like it. That's why it's my number 3.
Awesome. All right, well, my number 3 is soccer.
Oh man, I figured that you'd put soccer, just higher on your list. You soccer lover.
Hey, 3's pretty high. All right.
Yeah,
I'm just
is,
kidding. It is high.
Yeah, it's up there, but I expected it to be your number 1 or 2.
Wait, has Deeds? No. You did name motorsports. Okay. So.
Yes, motorsports is my number 5, but yeah, soccer's my number 3 because I think that I understand why people don't like soccer, but the most exciting thing is a goal at the perfect moment. Nothing else in sports is more exciting than that, is because the goals are so few and far between that whenever they happen, they are so exciting. And whenever you look at a soccer score and you see that it's 0-0, sure, some people might be like, oh, well, nothing happened. That's not true. Anytime there's a close goal, anytime there's almost a goal that's, blocked at the last minute or something like that, that's almost as exciting as an actual goal. And so soccer has some super exciting moments. And another thing that I really like about soccer, this is what I was talking about last episode, is I think that some sports are worth watching because there are some extra benefits. Like soccer truly connects the entire world. And, like we talk about how cool the Olympics are whenever those happen, because they're a global event. All the countries participate. Soccer does that all the time. And that's what I love about it, is especially like the Champions Leagues and stuff, just all of the infrastructure, all the different cups and tournaments. It's really hard to follow because there's so much going on, but it's very rewarding because it's so popular everywhere. I could talk to a soccer fan from pretty much any country. And I think that's what makes it really special. That's what I love about it.
Yeah. Well, I would like to say something, comment on something you said. You mentioned that goals are few and far between, and that's what makes soccer great. I think you could easily say that's what makes it boring, because nothing, like you said, nothing happens, and it's just a 2-0 game's considered a blowout. and it's, to me, that just seems boring. But I know it happens all the time, and people love it. It's just I don't think it's for me.
Yeah, JP, you got thoughts?
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say what Nick said. It's just I do agree with the fact that if the score is 0-0, I mean, it can be a lot more exciting than what the score is. But I mean, sometimes like they score a goal and you're like, is this real life? Is this really happening? Did they actually score a goal? And did I actually see that with my own eyes? Just because they can be so rare. But
yeah.
But when they do score, yeah, it is pretty exciting. But
what really sucks is when you miss it.
Yeah,
like,
I know. I was about to say,
for like a
better,
second. Yeah,
you better be paying attention because,
yeah.
If you see a goal scored, that might be the only one for the match. So
yeah, easily. Yeah, that's why I love soccer. I mean, it brings me much excitement, and yeah, it's a cool sport. Okay, number 2, JP.
My number two is tennis. I put tennis as my number 2.
All right.
Yeah, just because my favorite athlete ever is Roger Federer, and I love playing. I love playing tennis. I love watching tennis. It's just a battle against your opponent and against yourself. And I mean, some of these matches, yeah, they can last so long, but they can be so exciting. Sometimes, I mean, they don't really seem as long as they actually are. And I don't know. It's just like you can really focus on what's going on. There's not too much, and there's not any distraction. It's easy to, and like once you understand tennis, it's easy to keep up with it and everything. And
yeah. Actually, if I may jump on and skip Nick real quick, tennis is my number 2 as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
What if I told you that? What if I told you that tennis was my number 2?
Well, you already said
I would call you a liar. Liar.
But I wanted to jump on that too. Yeah, tennis is great. I think that, like, I second everything that JP said. I love that it's like what I like about boxing, but better.
Yeah, you can like really get to know the players really well.
Yeah. And I do like that tennis is actually very easy to follow. Basically, once you learn the rule that, hey, there are 4 majors, that's all the tennis you really need to pay attention to. And also, maybe, like, there's if you know, like, the top, like, 6 male and female tennis players for singles tennis, you're pretty much good. you know, like you're pretty much good to go. I mean, there's always surprises and stuff. Well, not always, but there's sometimes surprises and stuff. But again, those storylines always unfold pretty organically if you watch it, if you keep track of a majors tournament. And so surprises like Coco Gauff, for example, you're gonna hear about it if you just pay the smallest bit of attention to it. So yeah, that's why I love tennis. I would actually, anyone who even like doesn't watch sports much, tennis is really easy to keep up with and it's really exciting. So second that, number 2. Nick, what's your number 2?
Well, like I said, my number 2 is also tennis.
Lies.
No, my number 2. Number 1. It's like my 1 and 2 are really close. And then everything else is just kind of out there for the most part.
Can I guess your number 2?
Sure. Yeah. What do y'all think my number 2 is?
Football.
Actually, my number 2 is baseball.
Oh my
man.
God.
That's
Where is Nick Grant and what have you done with them?
Well, it's baseball, and like I said, like it really is super close. But after doing some soul searching, I traveled to the mountains and really meditated on this list. And my criteria is, what am I going to watch? What am I more likely to watch? And while I do love baseball, I do love following it. I love playing fantasy baseball, even though it's a marathon. And baseball is, like I said, is wonderful. It's still set my number 2. It's great. I think the stories that come out of baseball are they can be some of the most inspiring and some of the most amazing stories. And then you have stuff like the steroid scandals, the Astros cheating scandal. I mean, think about how big that scandal is and how it's impacted not just baseball but sports all over. People like in other sports and everywhere are commenting on this scandal. It's insane. The figures you get from baseball, you got Babe Ruth, Jackie Robinson. He's hated, but Barry Bonds. Everybody's like sees him as the villain. There's just so many personalities and so many different things that happen that makes baseball larger than life, and that's what makes it great. And a little fun fact, as y'all know, and I'm sure most of our listeners probably kind of know. So the Texas Rangers, they went to the World Series back in 2011. Shortly after that, they lost to the St. Louis Cardinals in Game 7 and one of the most crazy World Series I've ever seen. Also one of the most depressing as a Rangers fan. That being said, 2 years later, my wife and I got married. We went to our honeymoon in Jamaica. While we were there, we were at a resort and we were at a piano bar and sitting next to the table to some people from Canada. And the guy goes, "Let me ask you something. You're a baseball fan?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm not trying to, open a old wound, but how did it feel knowing you were so close to winning?" and that's how I told him. I was like, time heals old wounds, and then that was that. Well, then a couple of years later, we went to Vegas with my in-laws, and we went to the I forgot the name of the aquarium, but there's an aquarium in Las Vegas, in one of the hotels, and we go up to this little. There's a worker there in front of a piranha thing, and I'm wearing a Texas Ranger shirt. It's in the spring, and he goes, "Are you a baseball fan, eh?" I go, "Yeah." And basically he tells me about Game 6 and Game 7 of the World Series. I was like, "Yeah, I know. I was watching it." So that being said, and things that happen in baseball really stick with a lot of people, and that's why it's my number 2. It's just a great sport, and it's good for you. It's good for the world. It's good for everything. Baseball is fantastic.
Right on. Baseball.
Yeah, I agree. I love baseball too, man. I love baseball.
It's great.
Well, JP, what's your number 1?
Football. I put football as my number 1 because, based on Nick's criteria, I'll watch regular season football, and you know what? I just thought about this. It may not even be because I like the sport that much. It's because there's fewer games, and okay, what if baseball had 16 games per season? And I don't know which sport would I watch more, baseball or football. I really don't know. But I think I would just be lying to myself if I didn't say football is my favorite sport to watch. I love watching the Dallas Cowboys. I love college football. Football can be really, really exciting. Like you said earlier, it can be also really boring and stuff too. But I don't know, just watching, especially like a NFL playoff game, or like a college playoff game. It's so exciting to watch. There's so much tension in the air. And just I look forward all day to watch it. I look forward all freaking day to watch it.
Yeah. Well, and football is the best water cooler sport because, a lot of people watch it and it's always on at the same time. And, you come back on Monday, you can, talk smack with your coworkers who like the other team and all that stuff. You can, it's like it's like a great, thing that everyone kind of can watch and, follow and participate in. So, yeah, that's one of the things I love about it as well. All right, my number 1, basketball.
Really?
Yep.
Well, that's kind of surprising.
Yeah, I thought you would have picked soccer over that, but tell us why it's number 1.
Basketball is the best because... kind of by Nick's criteria, if there is an NBA game, there's always an NBA game, but if there's a Mavericks game or a Lakers game, I will watch that over most other stuff. and just because it's action packed, and I think that the fourth quarter specifically of most basketball games is always super entertaining to watch, unless it's a complete blowout. I would actually make the case that most basketball games you can skip the first half most of the time, at least. But yeah, nothing beats the fourth quarter of a close basketball game. And I think the big thing that makes basketball worthwhile is the stars. I think that more so than any sport, the basketball players are interesting characters. And I think that's a big part of what makes it the best sport. There you go, basketball.
All right. Well said.
Yeah. Nick, go ahead with your number one.
All right. Well, my number one is also football. Like I said, I had to really think about my list, and I don't want to say it hurt me to put football at number one just because of my love of baseball. But when I really thought about it, I love doing fantasy football. I love watching college football, and then, now I'm watching the XFL pretty much religiously for the most part. And whenever it's bowl season in college football, I'm watching a lot of college football games pretty much all day. So when I really think about it, I think football is my favorite sport because it's just awesome. I mean, it's anybody, like you said, Deets, anybody can talk about it at the water cooler. We're really surrounded in it by living in Texas. Football's king pretty much, but it's fun. It's a great team sport, and it's fantastic to watch live. I've seen so many great and terrible games in person, and obviously it's great to win, and just the feelings you can get from football, like the intensity. If the game is really close and your team is out of timeouts and they're trying to score or tie in the game, this is their final drive. I've watched my team do that a couple of times, and I'm pulling hair out of my head because I'm so nervous. So I don't really get that as much in baseball, but I do to a degree. But I think overall, when push comes to shove, football is my favorite sport because I'm more likely to watch it on TV if it's on. But like I said, baseball's a close second, and really any given time they could flip-flop. But I just got to go with football.
Cool. Well, there you have it. We all ranked our sports. I think that it's been a really fun year. I think that all of us have watched stuff that we never would have gotten into otherwise, and hopefully in the oncoming years we'll further explore some of our blind spots and maybe find some hidden gems of things we enjoy. So let's pretty briefly, since we're running pretty late on time, let's kind of briefly go through some honorable mentions, because we've covered a lot of weird stuff on the show. I will start. One of my favorite kind of, I guess, less mainstream sport, at least for the United States that we've covered, is rugby. Rugby was a extremely entertaining surprise, and really enjoyed watching that, the Rugby World Cup. And if I had time, or if I lived in a place where I was surrounded by other rugby fans, I think I could easily get into rugby because that's a very fun sport to watch.
Yeah, I completely agree. I really enjoyed watching the Rugby World Cup. It's a lot of fun, and I felt like it's a good blend between soccer and football, and because it is nonstop, and they still have those real physical elements to it. And whenever you see somebody just break free and start running to score, you start cheering like, yeah, go, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed watching rugby, and I would love to go to a rugby match in person sometime.
Yeah, for sure. JP, do you have any honorable mentions?
Okay, I love the big horse races. I do like watching those. I only watch the big races. I want watch anything else really. Professional eating. If the hot dog eating contest is on, I will if I'm not. I will record that thing if I'm not able to watch it. I will. I love watching professional eating. I love that. There's a 30 for 30 over that.
Yeah, that's right. The good, the bad, and the hungry.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. At one point in time, it would be cycling. Back when Lance Armstrong was in it, I enjoyed watching that. But
yeah. See, yeah, I enjoyed researching professional eating, I think, more than I enjoyed watching it because it's disgusting.
Yeah,
it's kind of gross.
It's just so fun. It's just I don't know, it's just the whole spectacle because...
Yeah, it was interesting to learn about, though, for sure. Yeah, and actually, to second your comment, JP, I got really into the Tour de France this past year.
Yeah,
of course,
I
had the luxury of... having a summer vacation since I'm a teacher, and so I actually had time to watch it. That's a really interesting sport.
Yeah, the commentators make that. Like, the commentators are amazing. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, and like motorsport, it's got a surprising level of complexity to it.
Yeah,
and strategy.
Right. Yeah. I like how they talk about the strategy of the teams, and it's not just watching a dude on the bike. It's a lot more than that. So,
and not to mention, because I didn't watch because they have the Giro d'Italia, which is in May, and they have the Vuelta a España in August and September. I didn't watch either of those, but one of the things I liked about the Tour de France is that you got to see a lot of beautiful French countryside, and I'm sure that the other two offer similar views. Any other honorable mentions y'all want to talk about before we move on?
No, you guys covered what I was thinking.
Okay. Well, okay, just wanted to point out a couple of other ones. So sports that we'd like to cover in the future. I'd like for us to cover bowling and darts in the future.
Who do you think you are? I am.
Yeah, man. Man, I think about that video a lot. For those who don't know what we're talking about, JP, do you remember the name of that bowler?
No.
There's a professional bowler, and I don't remember his name, but there's a clip, and he wins a championship. And he goes, "That's right, I did it, I did it, I did it." And he goes, "Who do you think you are? I am." It's pretty iconic. You can just type. You could just Google
Pete Weber.
Yes, thank you. And apparently he's like the bad boy bowler. Like he's got an edge to him. He's a character. But yeah, if you haven't seen, we might have to post that video on our social media because it's awesome and it's hilarious. And to be honest, I think we should make a video of JP reenacting that scene. Like I think it would be pretty spectacular.
Okay. Yeah.
I think you could crush it, JP.
Yeah, I could definitely do that. I could do that.
And of course, the other thing on the wish list that I got is the Summer Olympics, which we are planning on covering already. That'd be a lot of fun. Do you guys have any other things on your wish list that you want to cover on the show?
The only things I think would be fun would maybe be like some ancient sports.
Gladiators.
That'd be kind of cool. I mean, obviously, we can't watch any gladiator fights or anything like that, but it'd be kind of cool to talk about them. And also, just any popular sport in a different country that most people might not be aware of as a thing. I think that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Because I'm sure that there are tons of them that we don't even know about. Gaelic soccer, right? Remember that, JP? Gaelic soccer?
Yeah, that was pretty neat to watch.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's a ton of others. Yeah, any listeners out there, international or domestic, send us recommendations at wisportscast@gmail.com. All right, well, gentlemen, I guess that's about it for the episode. It's been a great year. Next week, we're going to be talking about IndyCar and Formula One. We got the season starting up. Actually, the first races of both series are this coming Sunday, March 15th. So check them out. We'll talk about it. I'll get you guys caught up on everything that you need to know. In the meantime, thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you guys next Wednesday.